Arthur opens his eyes and instantly feels the sharp pain. He touches the painful spot on the back of his head and feels dried blood. He is lying on a cold, cobbled floor. He sits up and looks around. He is in a dimly lit cell. Arthur slowly pushes himself up to his feet and walks to the door. Through the opening, he sees a man pacing listless along a hallway. Arthur calls out to the guard. "Where am I? What is this place?" The guard rushes over and, in a hushed voice, replies, "Finally, you're awake. The downers brought you. I am not supposed to talk to you." Bewildered, Arthur stares at him. The bearded man continues, "But I have to. I cannot take this anymore. I want out, but I am sure they will kill me. Will you help?" Stunned, Arthur's first thought is that this is a trick. "What do you mean?" "Look, they are doing terrible things here, but you already know that. That's why they dragged you here." "I heard them talking," the guard says. "We can't waste time. They might be back for you any minute. I will let you out, but you have to put a stop to it." "Okay," Arthur says slowly, still unsure if he should believe the man. "But they will know you let me out. I'll say you feigned dying, choking on something. Then when I came in, you rushed me." The guard unlocks the door and, grabbing Arthur by the arm, pulls him out in the hallway. "Keep quiet now." Still thinking this is an act, Arthur tags along down the hallway, passing more holding cells, dark and apparently empty. He says, Wait, I had a bag with me." The man cuts him off. "Don't know about that. The boss might have it." "Any idea where he might keep it? I really need it if we want to stop them." The guard pauses in mid-stride, obviously thinking. The best bet is that he has it in his quarters. He walks on. "Where is that?" "Top floor, but I doubt you will have time. Now quick, I will show you the way out. Then you must lock me in your place. Can you tell me what is going on here? You can see yourself." The guard reaches a doorway. We are underground, 2 levels. The level above us is where you will see what they are doing. But don't linger too long there. Keep going up. You will reach the ground floor. If you want to try to find your bag, go up to the top floor, where the boss stays. I hope you can then find your way out. Just promise to expose what they are doing here. With that, they both rush back to Arthur's cell. "Now hit me," he says, scrunching up his face, expecting a punch. Arthur hesitates. The man grabs his hand. "Come on, you want out or what?" Arthur squeezes a fist, looks at the other man, then lands a quick blow on his face. The guard says, "Stronger." Arthur does it again, this time sending the man reeling back with a wince of pain. "Good. I hope it will show. Now lock the door and get out. Be careful." Arthur slides the lock bolt in place and hurries back down the hallway to the stairs. In the dim light, he feels his way up the steps. He reaches what must be the first underground level. He is pondering whether to check the level out or simply rush for an exit, when he suddenly freezes. Inhumane, bestial sounds emanate from beyond the closed thick door on the landing. Low but vicious, the sounds send chills down his spine. He stares at the door, afraid to move. The sounds continue, deep and far. He moves close to the door and puts his ear to it. He listens. He pushes the door slowly and it opens with a rusty squeak. He steps in. A passageway opens up before him, in shadows. He takes a few steps forward and the sounds rise in volume. The only light illuminating the place comes from an oil lamp on the wall far ahead. Holding cells with iron bar doors line the passage on either side. The cells seem empty. Then he discerns shapes on the floor. He squints his eyes and sees bones, lots of bones, scattered on the floor of each cubicle. The heinous sounds sharpen, and he looks up. The light rays from the oil lamp cast macabre shadows at the far end of the passage, as if warning him off. Steeling his nerves, Arthur walks on. He approaches a cell where shuffling sounds can be heard. He steals a peek and freezes in place, horrified at the sight. A man. No, not a man. Is it a man? A creature is shuffling about the cell. its skin racked by severe rashes and cuts. The face is unrecognizable. This thing sees Arthur, lurches toward the cell. With a loud bang, the creature hits the door. It thrusts its arms through the iron bars, attempting to grab Arthur, by now scared witless. Instinctively, Arthur jumps back. The creature roars and slams the gate repeatedly with force. Arthur has seen enough. He whirls around and rushes back. At the door, he looks over his shoulder, sees that the thing is still raging, then exits and shuts the door. For a few minutes, he stands there, catching his breath, collecting his wits. Questions are racing in his mind. What the heck is that? Is that someone who has been experimented on by Blackmore? It must be. The guard told him he would see for himself on this level. Why would Blackmore keep a failed test subject dangerously alive? Arthur hastens his climb up the stairs. He doesn't stop on the ground floor, but keeps going till he reaches the top floor. He doesn't see any door on the small landing. He tentatively runs his fingers along the smudged walls, looking for some kind of opening. He then feels it. A panel in the wall. He listens intently, and after hearing nothing, he tries to budge it. It gives, sliding to the side. He pushes further, slowly. Faint yellowish light streaks through the small gap. Arthur peers through. There is a bed, but wait, he has seen this room before. This is the same room where he found the ring during his prior quest through the Downers base. He can still recall the same panel being pushed open and those dreadful cries that prompted him to make a panicked exit. The place is empty. He pushes the panel all the way and steps in the room. This time round, the room is in disarray, recently lived in. He looks around. He is in luck, for there is his rucksack on the floor by the window. He walks over, checks the contents, and, with a sigh of relief, finds the incriminating ledger. Arthur straps the rucksack on his back and goes to the window. He looks out. No movement. He lets himself out of the window and drops onto the roof of the adjacent structure. He races to the parapet wall on the opposite side, climbs down to the dirt road below, and disappears into the night. Arthur was careful to steer clear of his neighborhood in London. After his escape, the Downers would be hunting him. He disappeared into a coffee house far from his turf. He has chosen a bench in the shadows. He is watching the patrons who, in this part of London, are humble in clothes and weary in expression. Arthur sips his beverage, trying to collect his thoughts. It is obvious to him now that Niter, whom he considered a friend, betrayed him, either for money or from fear. Arthur wonders where Blackmore are conducting their experiments now. The laboratory in Briar Castle, near the archives, was deserted. They must have moved their clinical work somewhere else. The failed test subjects are sent off to the Downers base. Some of them, anyway. It is time to drop the matter in the hands of the authorities, he decides. With that, he stands up and heads out. It took a month or so for the police to wrap up the case, or most of it anyway. With the details in the ledger, and on Arthur's insistence that they rush to the Downers base and see for themselves before the evidence is hidden, the authorities acted fast. Apparently, the Downers did not have time to decide how to get rid of the damning evidence in the first underground level. Upon the constable's arrival, the creature was still there, more enraged than before. The bones still covered the floors of the cells. There was panic among the Downers. Most were apprehended, but some escaped. The police found the guard who had helped Arthur, lying in a pool of blood, his throat slashed. Obviously and sadly, his story was not believed. The police quarantined the building, not knowing what to do with the creature. They have been tracking the directors and staff of Blackmore. Though Arthur has succeeded in putting an end to Blackmore's activities, he is feeling sad. The image of that human-turned monster keeps haunting him. But Betty and her daughter can now rest in peace.